Happy Sunday. It's a little rainy where I'm at. Tropical storm going through. How are you? How was your week? Crazy times we live in, right? What a tremendous opportunity for us to see all things through the eyes of love, to see what's happening in our world with clarity, to stay lifted up, right? Good morning. Good morning. So, as we do every Sunday, we begin with some attunements, put love in the field, center ourselves. So I invite you to speak the words after me, whether it's out loud or in your mind. All right. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We blesses us. I bless all of you. Bless all of you. I bless all of you. All right. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. I'm in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. All things new. Upper room is our higher self. It's where we can perceive without the low frequencies, where we lift to. We're really in the space of knowing ourselves as word. And then we can lift that we see. All right? This morning we're going back to the beginning. We're going to talk from the book I Am the Word, which is Paul's first book. From 2009. An oldie but a goodie. The basis for all the other books if you haven't read it. And we're going to talk about old patterns of behavior, old patterns and ways of seeing ourselves that are not the truth of who we are. And for me, I can say, well, it feels like I've spoken about that a lot lately. And I don't know if that's true or not. It just feels like that for me. And I'm just trusting that it's what we all need to hear. What patterns do you have that do not serve you? And are you willing to surrender them? Are you willing to step outside that box that someone else made for you, or maybe you made it for yourself? As you all know, I live in South Florida, basically. It was a hurricane, now it's a tropical storm moving through. And I was standing outside this morning and the wind is gusting, and I'm watching the lake and the birds on the lake that are trying to fly into the wind. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just swim? You're trying to get to the other side. Why are you going about it the hard way? Why do we go about things the hard way? Sure, there's a current in the water, but that seems far easier to me than trying to fly directly into the wind. I don't know how hard they're blowing. Still, it's just an analogy, it's a thought, it's an idea. Why do we bang our heads against the wall? Try to control how things happen. It's been a really interesting weekend for me, so this talk may not be for everyone, and that's okay. I've been very introspective, looking at things that I've created, things I would like to create that are not happening, old patterns that I've not released. And what a better time than a tropical storm to release them, to surrender them, just put them out in the wind to blow away, free myself. Sit really in the presence of I am free, I am free, I am free. So if you follow along in the books, I'm on page 48, the last paragraph in the book I Am the Word. And I'm talking about eradicating things in our consciousness. Right? So when we say that something is eradicated in consciousness, we're actually saying that it is done. And the only thing that can bring it back into being is choice to re-inhabit a pattern. Your choice to re-inhabit that pattern. Right? So back to my analogy. We're in the water, things are smooth, they're going well. And then maybe we get afraid. Or maybe our peers say something that causes us to go, oh, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And we fly into the wind again, into the headwinds. And we're being buffeted around. And maybe we think to ourselves, this is not working. And yet we know how to be that. And maybe it comes down to like a sense of like allowance. Like, am I allowed to do things the easy way? For some of you, maybe, am I allowed to be happy? Am I allowed to be joyful? Only you can answer that for you. If you clear something, if you divorce something, you still have the choice to reclaim it or remarry it or at least going on a little date with your ex to see how it feels. Well, guess what? To the extent that you do that, you actually recreate the pattern. You call it back into being, and you recreate it as if from a mold. Anybody ever done that? For many people, it's the weight, right? It's a good thing to look good. I don't know, analogy, right? You lose the weight. You're going along great. Bam, something happens. And unconsciously, even, you find yourself back in that groove, back in that freaking track that you just got out of. And then what happens? What happens? We beat ourselves up. We make ourselves wrong. And now that freaking rut has become a gully and we can't get out. It has a place, where it goes, and what it gets you, even if it's painful and you were used to it. Even if it's painful, we'll go there. I'll go there. So we're going to give you a system now to clear that once and for all. That which you have stated you wish to be gone. So maybe you might want to go back and look at this chapter and write down things you wish to be gone. Or even now, pick one. Pick one that you would like to work on. So for me, it's unworthiness. And I invite you to say this claim of truth after me, or just feel the words as if they are your own. I'm now making the choice to have this cleared once and for all. And I intend now to release any unconscious behavior that would have me reclaim this pattern that I've stated I am now free of. Word I am word through this intention. Word I am word. And what you have just done is set an intention that you will not reclaim the patterning, and consequently you've just manifested a real change in your consciousness. We're giving Paul the image of a seawall that blocks the water from the bay, as it were. And what you have just done is created a system that withholds old behavior and consciousness from returning to become one with the self. The image Paul sees in his mind's eye is of a small bay that is protected by a jetty from the larger ocean. And what we have done is essentially erected this jetty around the behavior to protect the self from recurring what is essentially nothing more than a crappy habit of knowing the self in a wrong-minded way. And we talked a few weeks ago about renaming the pandemic or COVID love, to take the fear out of it, to take the anxiousness out of it, to take the worry out of it. So now we could say, instead of whatever label is on your crappy habit, you just call it a crappy habit. Oh, I beat myself up. Oh, I have a crappy habit. I don't know, maybe for you it feels like it's less charged. It's less personal in a way, right? It's just a little more neutral, crappy habit. I don't know. See what works best for you. We're at the bottom of page 50 now. We're going to teach you now a simple way to reclaim your thinking from the lower self. The lower self being the false self, the ego self, the one that perpetuates the worry and the fear at this time. Now, we will tell you this. This is not something that can be done once. This is about a new pattern. And like any new pattern, it needs to be ingrained in consciousness and in behavior for it to become fully realized in your life. But this is a simple action that we will adjust you to now. If you would state this intention after us, after me. I'm now in dominion over my thinking. I'm now realizing myself fully as the one in control of my thinking. I'm now choosing to think only those thoughts that will bring me benefit and anchor in this new way of thinking fully into my consciousness. And word through this intention. Word, I am word. Now, once this is stated, once again, you bring energy to a conscious intention. And when this is so, this intention is set and created by you, and it is done to the extent that you align to it and allow it to be done. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to allow it to be done? Be present with that. If you do this exercise, be present with that. Yes, this does mean you do not have to continue to think in the old way, period. But it does not mean that the habit's still not there and must be recreated through your own intention. So we have to give you a follow-up, and a simple follow-up that will assist you in your thinking as you go through your day. I'm now choosing to think only those thoughts which will bring me peace and will align me to a higher consciousness. I'm doing this easily and through my own intention to know myself as word. Word, I am word through this intention. Word, I am word. Write it on a piece of paper. Carry it in your purse or your pocket if you wish. Write it on the back of your hand for a day as a reminder. But if you get used to this, what you actually do is recreate a pattern of thought in a higher way. So consequently, the old thoughts that would shoot up to the surface suddenly have to transform and recreate themselves differently because the consciousness is now supporting their respect for the old system that is no longer in place. Then it is done. Pick your biggest one. Try it. If you're willing, if you're really willing to surrender that. You might say, I'm afraid. And I would say, I know. I understand. But there's freedom on the other side of your fear. And to get from here to here, the in-between, maybe some rough waters. sun is shining over here. It's joyful and happy. And walk up the mountain that might be hard. And you might fall. But you get up. We get up, right? We're resilient. We stand in our truth. Know who we are. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. I am free. I'm free. I am free. And you might say, well, I don't know myself as free. Say it anyway. We go back to this isn't just air in front of us, it's the quantum field. What we put out, what we bless, including ourselves, blesses us back. Would you rather say I am free and put that energy out there to be blessed by that coming back to you? Or would you rather say something that is not that? You'd rather damn yourself and be damned back again. We get to choose our hamster wheel. We get to choose to get off of the hamster wheel. We get to choose whether we jump from the hamster wheel when it's spinning 20 miles an hour. Or when it's in a slow rotation and we just gradually step off. We do the work, the wheel slows. We step off. We don't need the wheel anymore. I'm over on page 53 now. Now we would tell you this. If someone has a pattern of worry, that worry was created at some time. And what would be required on a very basic level is to go to the source of the worry as it was created in time, in present time, reverting to memory, recalled or regarded, or simply suggested, go there and set this intention. So you have a memory of, well, I tried. We'll stick with weight. I tried to lose weight. I tried. Didn't work. I tried to change this pattern of behavior. Go back to the one that's most prevalent for you, that's most in your forethought. And set this intention. I'm now choosing to release the pattern of worry or whatever your pattern was. I'm now choosing to release the pattern of worry that has created these problems. And I do this fully on all levels. Past, present, future. And align myself to the new thought that I have put forth. I'm word through this intention. Word, I'm word. There. We've just given you another way to work with thought. If you have a pattern, you do not take the symptom in the moment. You can work with it there, but you can also clear the pattern from the root by going to the time in which it was created and bringing the light there to clear it. Is this understood? It's as if you were not trimming the hair, you're pulling it out by the root. When you trim a hair, it grows back. When you pull it out by the root, you do not. And this is the difference in the way that you approach this clearing. This was one intention that we have given you to work with, and we have given you this work quite simply as a way to begin to understand that the frequency of the word can actually do things on an active level in your life. Word is an action. It is the frequency. It is the action of the Creator. And when you bring forth the word through a patterning, you're clearing the patterning. If you change the pattern, then you have a different response and a different way of existing in your world. If you believe that things will always be the way they have been, that is what you will create, and we promise you that. If you believe that things will always be the way they have been, that is what you will create, and we promise you that. If you set the intention now, I'm word through my knowing, and I'm word through all that I will create in the future. You're beginning to align your future to a higher frequency that will bring about different experiences that you could have had otherwise. Period. Now, Paul asks, is this done quickly? Does this happen overnight? What is the process of this? It happens in stages. The first stage is claiming the intention. I'm word through this intention to do whatever you wish. Word, I am word. I'm word through this intention to do whatever I want. Word, I am word. And then you fill in the blank. I'm word through my desire to know myself more. I'm word through my intention to believe in my abilities. I'm word through my intention to create the perfect job. Word, I'm word through these intentions. Word, I'm word is how we present it. Now, once this is stated, the energy moves and we go forward in consciousness and we create with the vibration. So that's the first stage, intention. And they go on to talk about other stages. First stage is intention. I'm word through this intention to do whatever I want. And you fill in the blank. Could be I'm word through this intention to lose weight, to not beat myself up, to end this pattern of self-sabotage, whatever shows up for you. Maybe that feels like a lot to do all of that at one time. So do one. Start with one. There's a benefit to baby steps for many of us. We get to prove to ourselves that it works because sometimes we need to have that validation. We don't make it such an arduous thing in our mind, like, oh my God, I'm doing all this at once. How is that working? It's freaking me out. And then we stop. So ask yourself, go to the upper room, state your claims of truth. And from the upper room, ask your higher self, what is in my best interest now to release from me? And be willing to hear the answer. And maybe you hear the answer and you're like, oh, hell no. So you could ask for healing around that. Like, wow, I really went into fear when I heard that. Can I have help moving that? I'm word through my knowing, through this experience of this creating a big fear pattern for me. Can we move that? I'm word through this intention to clear this. Word, I'm word. And if you heard something you didn't want to hear and you fell out of the upper room, it's okay. Sit for a minute, recenter yourself, state the claim of truth again, go back to the upper room and ask your higher self again. You know, the truth is that many of the patterns that we've created for ourselves have been with us a really, really long time. You get to choose. Do you want to be free of that which you feel doesn't serve you? Or do you just want to be that? And there's no judgment from me either way. I would say seek your own counsel. I would offer to you, seek your own counsel. And maybe you only share it with those that you know will support you. You know, we all have the naysayer in our life. The one that's in their own huge space of fear, so they don't want you to shine light on something because that makes them more uncomfortable, perhaps. It's a tremendous opportunity for us to love more and care less what other people say or think or do. And to release the need to control how it shows up, what the steps are to that surrender. And there may be someone listening to this call now who listens frequently, and he had his own struggle with weight. And it was a struggle. Hear that word, struggle. And then he released control over how it was going to show up and what he was going to do and all the stuff around that. And he found his own way. He found what worked for him. And I think he's lost, I don't know, over 100 pounds now. We have to find our own way and be willing to surrender the need to control how it shows up or when it shows up. Are you willing? All right. So we're over time. I think I should just schedule these things now for 35 minutes. Thank you for joining with me. Thank you for sticking with this and listening today. Thank you for sharing this space with me and this journey with me. I appreciate you. I see you. I know who you are in truth. I know what you are in truth. And I know how you serve in truth. You're beautiful, awesome, amazing beings of light. It's my pleasure and my honor to journey with you through the work of Paul Selig, Melchizedek. And I thank you for holding the space of love for me, because sometimes what I share with you, I don't want to share with you. But it's what shows up for me to heal with you. And so I'm willing to show up. Have a super awesome rest of your day. I'll see you next week. I love you. I do.